Yoga is not a substitute for medical attention or treatment. Don't perform any postures to the extent of pain or strain. Always listen to your body and meet yourself with kindness and compassion. Hi and welcome back. I'm Sina, and today I'll be guiding you through a gentler morning yoga practice. This class is going to be fairly low to the ground, and we will be stretching and mobilizing our major muscle groups and joints. There will be a few downward facing dogs to create a little heat and strength as well. And you won't need any props, as I am also traveling at the moment and have no props with me. This video is recorded in Germany, and I hope it provides you with what you need for a perfect start into your day. We'll begin in a comfortable seated position. Begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and open your mouth, releasing, softening exhale out. Allowing your eyelids to slowly close, and then bringing your awareness fully into the breath. Just observing each inhalation, each exhalation. And then inviting stillness and softness into your face, your jaw, shoulders, arms and fingers, all the way down into the toes. Taking note of your environment, the sounds that you can hear, the louder ones, but also the subtle sounds. And then noticing any sensation on your body. What is the temperature of the room, the space that you're in? How do the clothes feel that are touching your skin? Is there anything that you can smell or even taste? Maybe you've eaten or had a drink already. Coming back to the awareness of your breath. Observing, is your breath shallow? Is it deep? Maybe you can feel a warmth as you breathe out. And then ask yourself the question, how do you feel? What is most dominant in your body right now? What sensations do you pick up? And honestly, how do you feel? We will practice 4 rounds of Samafriti, box breathing. Together, let's take a breath in through the nose. An open mouth, exhale out. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause again, 1, 2, 3, 4, last cycle, inhale, hold the breath, exhale, hold the breath out, and let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, sit up nice and tall, and exhale, open the mouth, exhale all the stiffness and anything that you need to surrender into the earth. Let it all go. Beautiful. Let's blink the eyes back open. And let's go ahead and come into an all-fours position, tabletop. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We begin with a few rounds of cat and cow, finding some movement into the spine. So with an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lengthen the front side of the body. And then exhale, press knees, hands and toes down into the ground as you dome your shoulder blades. Inhale again, dropping the belly, creating length in the front side of your body, shoulders away from the ears. And with an exhale, rounding, keep the distance between the shoulders and the ears as you push your shoulder blades away from each other and up to the ceiling. Continue, inhale, dropping the belly. Maybe your eyes have closed again to really fully be present with what it feels like inside. Exhale and round, dome into the shoulders. Let's do 2 more rounds on your own, connecting your breath with the movement. Finding an openness across the chest, the heart, exposing the collarbones, and then exhaling, rounding, really creating lots of space between the shoulder blades. 1 more round here. Beautiful, that's it. Slowly beginning to mobilize the entire spinal column. And then coming back into your neutral tabletop position, we're going to do that sideways. So as we look past the right shoulder, bump your hips over to the left and see if you can really create space in the left outside body. And then coming through the center, peeling your nose past your left shoulder, bump your hips over to the right and really create a lot of space in that right side body. And again, on your own, just a couple more times here. Finding an opening on the side, bumping the hips right and left. Nice. Now if you wanted to add a little bit more movement into the shoulders, maybe you're going to make your own creation of what your cats and cows will look like. So just don't shy away from exploring what feels good here. This may look totally different than what I'm doing on camera, but just see if you can find a moment to really indulge the movements and dip into the shoulders, maybe the hips, just finding some sort of movement that makes you feel a little bit more satisfied in the body. Beautiful. Awesome. From here, come back into your tabletop, and then let's bring the big toes a little bit closer in towards each other. Spread the knees out as wide as your mat, and then let your hips sink back for a child's pose. So we're going to drop the chest and the forehead down towards the ground as much as possible. And maybe you need to rest your forehead on your hands that are stacked. You just check out what feels good for you here. And then really allowing for that softness to be present again. Softness in the fingers, softness in the shoulders, the jaw. And maybe a little bit of a stretch in the inner groin, hip area. We'll take a couple more breaths here in child's pose. Just gentle breaths in and out of the nose. Exploring maybe a little bit, if you breathe in deeper, that you can feel and sense a little bit of a stretch of a sensation in the backside of your body. And as you exhale, soften and become a little bit heavier towards the floor. One more cycle of breath here. And then on your next inhale, just very lightly lift your forehead off the mat, and then take your left hand and slide it underneath your right armpit so that your palm on the left opens up towards the top. So your palm is open, then your right hand reaches forward, and you should be feeling and exploring a nice sensation in that left shoulder. So I found a new way to dig deeper into that stretch, and if you might want to try it with me, you're going to take your right hand and interlace your right and left fingers, and then push into the interlaced hand, trying to extend the right and the left arm. So this should give you a really nice stretch and a sensation across the top of that left shoulder. If this is too much or it's not the right way for you, just leave your right hand reaching towards the top of the mat. Wherever you've decided to be, let's take one more breath here. And an exhale out to release. Awesome. Let's release back into child's pose. Find one breath with arms extended forward before you then go off to slide the right arm underneath the left armpit. And then finding your right side of the head resting down onto the floor, right temple, right ear to the mat, right palm flipped so that it's facing up. And maybe you want to try that interlaced variation with your arms here, really pushing into your both hands, pushing them down and away from you so that you can feel that opening stretch on the right shoulder. Good. Maybe your left hand stays extended. Entirely up to you. One more breath wherever you've decided to be. And then let's slowly release back into child's pose, both arms out in front of you. Let's rock the head a little bit side to side. Just finding a little bit of a forehead massage here. Nice. And let's take the palms together, walking the elbows in a little bit closer as well, and then pointing your thumbs towards your neck. So just a little bit of a tricep stretch, a little bit of an invitation for your shoulders to open up, to receive a little bit more space. Let's just take 2 more breaths in this shark fin variation of child's pose. And extending the arms forward again. We're going to press into our hands, lift ourselves up, coming all the way into sitting on our heels, maybe fixing your clothes quickly, and then bringing the knees together, lifting up from the heels. You want to tuck your toes under, and you might want to take your hands to really tuck all the toes under. And then kneeling on your heels. This may not be the most comfortable of poses, but let's see if we can add a little bit of a neck stretch into this pose so that we can distract from the discomfort that we might experience. So take your hands behind your back and then hold on to the opposite elbows. It doesn't matter which arm is closer to your back and which one is on top. And then from here, try and pull your arms and shoulders down towards the earth. Try not to arch too much into the lower back, so keep a nice stack of your head, shoulders, and hips. And then let's just drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Taking a big breath in here and a big breath out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Last breath in. This time as you exhale out, drop your nose towards your right armpit, just finding a little bit of a variation of stretch sensation on your left neck. And then lift your head back up, and let's drop the left ear straight over towards the left shoulder. Of course, if this is way too uncomfortable for your toes, you might want to come up into lifting your heels off your hips off the heels. But if you can stay here, let's take one more breath in. One more breath out, shoulders still pulling down towards the floor. And then last breath in here. As you exhale, tilt your nose down towards that left armpit, finding a deeper stretch from all the way back behind your right earlobe. And then lift your head back up. Release your arms, yay. Come forward and just see if you can come into a tabletop position and tap your toes a couple of times. Maybe rotate your ankles. Invite some more blood flow back into your feet and your ankles. And then from here, let's go ahead and sit onto the tops of the feet again. And maybe this is already enough for your ankles and your tops of the feet. I'm just going to slide a little forward. If you want to go deeper into that stretch of the shins, you can go ahead and cup your fingers slightly behind you, lift your chest, and then see if you can lift the knees, pressing the inner thighs together. This is a nice opening for the heart. So we're squeezing the shoulder blades together, we're lifting the gaze, the heart, and we're also lifting the knees. Maybe this feels really nice for you. So let's see if we can stay for 2 more breaths. Very good. From here, let's slowly bring the knees back down. We're coming into our first downward facing dog of this class. So step the feet back, set your hands out shoulder distance, and then lift and press back. Please don't force your heels down to the ground. Just take a moment here and pedal the feet on the spot. Try and bring your attention to your hands, really pressing all 10 fingers into the mat, trying to bring a little bit more weight and focus into your thumb and index fingers. And then your gaze is back between your legs. You might still be pedaling, or maybe having a gentle bend in the knees so that you can press your belly back a little bit more towards the thighs. Maybe it feels nice here to shake your head gently. Yes, yes. No, no. Just finding a little bit of space between your ears and the shoulders so your head can move freely. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here in this downward facing dog, allowing for a little bit of stretch to unfold in the backs of the legs. But also we want to try and maintain a nice straight spine. So if bending your knees helps to create that length, please do that. And also slightly rotate your shoulders away from the ears, like an external rotation. 1 more breath in here. 1 more breath out. Last breath in. And as we exhale, drop your knees back down to the ground for your tabletop position. Untuck the toes, and let's just sit back onto the heels 1 more time. Release the wrists. Maybe you want to make fists, rotating into your wrists. Open and close your fingers. Just get a little bit of blood flow into the hands here. And then we're going to go ahead and find our tabletop position again. In your tabletop position, let's go ahead and lift the right leg up and then circle the right knee towards the right elbow. Open it up and circle it back, down and around. 2 more of those. Knee forward, open, back and around. 1 more this direction, up and around. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to kick the leg back, the knee back, open it up, close it in towards the right elbow and back and down. 2 more this way. So finding a little bit of mobility into our largest joint, our hips. 1 more circle forward. That's it. And this time, as you bring your leg forward, step your right foot by your right pinky fingers, and then come up onto your fingertips, tuck your back toes under, and see if you can slide that left knee as far as possible back on your mat. Your hands are maybe flat or on fingertips, or maybe you make fists. You decide what is best for you. And then let's go ahead and turn the right foot 45 degrees outwards and open up onto the pinky toe side of that foot. Now you should be exploring a little bit of a stretch in that inner right thigh and groin area. Try and see if you can from here really not rest too much weight onto your left kneecap. You want to bring the weight more towards your left quad. And then from here, let's close the right knee in to tap towards the shoulders. And then open it up again. Let it drop outwards towards the ground. And back into the shoulders, to the right shoulder specifically. And then open up again. Let's do that one more time. Bring the right knee in towards the left shoulder, and this time as you drop open to the right with your right knee, you might want to stay here. You might want to explore what it feels like to come down onto your elbows. You decide where you're at today. Taking 2 to 3 more breaths here. Really shining your collarbones forward, open your heart, try to find length in the spine, gazes down towards the mat. One more inhale here. One more exhale out. Come back onto the sole of that right foot, and then heel toe your foot back until both legs are extended back, and then just find your entire front side of the body relaxing down onto the mat. Open your feet out so the toes are at least as wide as the mat is wide as well. And then come up onto your elbows, finding Sphinx pose here. And as we come into Sphinx pose, the elbows and forearms are parallel. The pull is a little bit of the elbows backwards. Again, opening the heart, keeping your bum and your lower body completely relaxed. And then let's add a little bit of a neck circulation again. So turn your head over to your right. Drop your chin down and across your collarbones. And open up, looking over your left shoulder again with the head. And then dropping the chin down, cross it in front of the chest over to the right. You can close your eyes here. Couple more of those. Nice. One more time back over to the right. And then bring your head back to the center. And from here, we're going to make our way into a forward fold. So bring the back legs together. Set your hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself back and up into a downward facing dog. Take a moment here and then just walk your feet all the way forward to the top of the mat. As you reach your forward fold, make sure your feet are parallel to each other, about hip width distance, and then reach for your opposite elbows. Imagine you would make a little box for your head here. Knees are bent, lower back is decompressed and relaxed. Weight is shifting more towards the toes, away from the heels. And we're going to sway a couple of times side to side here. Just a gentle release for the lower back and a little bit of a stretch for the hamstrings, the posterior chain of muscles running down the backside of our bodies. Last breath in here, and then slowly let your fingertips come down to the ground. Lift up halfway, maybe sliding the hands up halfway, finding that length in your lower back. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring the fingertips back down to the ground. We are going to step the right leg long back, and then dropping the right knee down towards the ground. You want to walk that left foot a little bit out to the left, both hands back on the inside of that left knee. And then walk that left foot a little bit more forward. Draw the hips back and begin to lift the left toes. So you're trying to stack your right hip on top of that right knee. Maybe tucking your toes feels better. You explore what is best. And from here, try to push your left big toe towards the diagonal top left corner of your mat. Yes, exactly. You know, you will feel when it's right. And then from here, we want to walk the hands diagonally forward and lower the chest as much as possible towards the ground. Keep breathing, really exploring the sensation and stretch on the inner side of your left leg. Neck is relaxed, gaze is down. Take one more breath in here. And a softening exhale out. Jaw and face stay soft throughout. And then lifting back up onto your hands, your fingertips, walk yourself back to a centered position. And then from here, let's just sit back. I'm just adjusting so I'm not out of the camera view. From here, roll onto your left buttocks and release the right foot. So the right foot comes to the inside of your left inner leg. And then inhale, lengthen your spine. Your left leg can be completely relaxed. And as we exhale, twist a little bit to the left and take your right hand to the left pinky toe side of your foot, or maybe your shin and ankle, whatever you can release. Relax that left hand down to the ground as well. And then see if you can lean a little bit closer towards that left leg. Once you have your maximum forward fold in this position, you might want to take your left hand around behind you, so your left fingertips are walking towards the back of your mat for a little bit of a deeper twist here and a deeper sensation of stretch in that lower right back. We're here for 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Take that left hand forward again, frame your left foot, release the right hand, and then walk yourself all the way back up into a seated position. Let's come into seated twist. Take that right foot to the outside of your left extended leg, and then bring your left hand to the right knee. Right arm reaches up for maximum length here. And as we exhale, bring your fingertips around and behind you so that you can really lengthen out of the spine. Apply a little bit of pressure between the left hand and the right knee, and then lengthen up into your spine for an inhalation. And with the exhalation, find your depth in the twist. Again, each inhale for length, and each exhale to drive you a little bit deeper into the rotation, into the sensation of twist. With your next inhalation, bring your entire torso to face forward, and then bend into your left knee and release your right shin in front of your left. Inhale, lift your arms all the way up. Find a little bit of length here. And as we exhale, fold forward. A little bit of flexion into that right foot so that you can really feel the stretch in the outer hip now. Maybe you want to stack your hands like barrels on top of each other so that you can rest your forehead. If you're practicing at home and you have blocks or other props, please feel free to use them as well. Or otherwise, just come into an unsupported from the head forward fold. Crawling your fingertips a little bit forward. Continue to keep the sit bones grounded. Relax your jaw. Breathe. Surrender. And slowly extend back up into an upright position. And from here, we're going to transition back into downward facing dog. So let's roll over the knees, extend the legs back, lift it up, find your downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up once, just open your hips, bend your right knee, let the toes face down, let the knee reach up, and open up into the front of that right hip crease. 1. Press the chest back, square your shoulders. 2. 3. And release both feet back into your downward facing dog. From here, let's go ahead and lift the heels up high. Drop both heels to the left. Then press your right foot down into the ground and come onto the toes of your left foot. Press into your right hand and bend your left knee so that you can really find this super, super big stretch in your right side body. Just 2 more breaths here. Gaze is back, chest pushes back towards that left thigh. And come back into your downward facing dog. Release the knees down to the ground. Awesome, you guys. Let's do that beautiful sequence on the other side. From here, left knee comes forward, opens up towards the left and rotates back and in. 2 more. Big hip circles here. Finding a little bit of mobility in the lower body. Good. And then changing the way you rotate, kick the leg back, open up to the side and bring it in and around. 2 more. Ooh, I've got a big release, nice big pop in my hip. 1 more time, bring the knee forward and around. Bring it up and back, and this time as you bring it forward, step that left foot to the left outside of your hand. Tuck your right toes under and really see if you can press that right knee a little bit more back. Here we go. Resting the weight mainly on that right quad. Both hands on the inside of that left foot. Turn it out 45 degrees. Come onto the pinky toe side of that left foot. Open the knee out to the side and then inhale, bring it in back to the shoulder. Exhale, drop onto the blade of the foot, open the knee out. Inhale, bring it back in. 1 more time. Come back onto the blade of the foot. Bring the knee back towards the shoulder. And then open up and stay for about 3 nice deep breaths. You can rest on your hands. Here you could also come back down onto your forearms, depending on how open your inner hip, your groin feels this morning. Wherever you decide to be, make sure your collarbones are open, your heart shining forward, your neck in line with the rest of your spine. 1 more breath in, 1 more breath out. Nice. Let's come onto the sole of that left foot and then heel toe your foot back until you can easily release it. Come back down onto your belly, and we're going to go back into a little bit of a stretch in the front sides of the shoulders. So turn your left ear down, bring your arms into a position like a cactus, so 90 degrees in the elbows, forearms parallel to the outer edges of your mat. And then roll onto your left side. Maybe you can bring your right foot around behind you. Maybe you want to stack your right leg lengthwise on the left. Take your left hand for a little bit more support in front of your face and notice the stretch, the sensation, the opening in that left front side of the shoulder. Just 2 breaths here. Nice. Last inhale. Last exhale. Rolling back through the center on your belly. Coming onto the other side. Right arm is cactus off to the right. Right ear comes down to the ground. Maybe take your left hand for support so that you can press yourself over. Left toes come around, maybe the back of that right leg, or maybe you decide to just rest both legs
extended on top of each other. Breathing here. Enjoying a big stretch in the front of that right shoulder. And then release back onto your belly. Come all the way up through a downward facing dog. We make our way back into a forward fold. In our forward fold this time, as you bend the knees, go ahead, place your left hand underneath your face, extend your right leg, and then bend a little bit more into the left. Easy opening twist here. Right arm reaches all the way up towards the ceiling. Release, maybe circle into that right wrist. Open and close your fingers again. And then exhale, right hand down, right knee bends, left leg extends. We inhale, opening up towards the left. If you come up onto your fingertips, you can allow for the spine to stretch a little bit longer, finding a little bit of mobility into the left hand here. Good. And then exhale, forward fold. Beautiful. Halfway lift just to neutralize the lower back. And exhale, fingertips down to the ground. This time, step back your left leg long, drop your left knee to the ground, and then heel toe your right foot out a little bit more and forward. So right foot comes forward and towards the edge of the mat. And then extend your right leg as the toes peel towards the ceiling. Push your left hip over the left knee. And remember that right big toe turns externally out towards the top of the right corner of your mat. And then walking the hands off diagonally towards the left so that we can have this super nice sensation of stretch in the inner right leg. Let the head drop. Come back to bringing your attention into your breath. Equal, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Just one more breath here. One more breath out. Walk your hands back to the center line on your mat and then begin to sit back. I'm just going to come a little forward so I'm still on my mat. And once your right buttocks comes onto the mat, sit on it, release the left foot. So the left sole of the foot connects to the inside of the right inner thigh. Lifting both arms up towards the sky for a beautiful lengthy spine. And as we exhale, twisting a little bit to the right, left hand comes around to the outer right foot or maybe to your shin. And then as we exhale, we try to close in a little bit more with our torso towards that extended right leg. Once you have found your maximum capacity in this forward fold, you might want to reach the right hand back for a little bit more opening, a little bit more space in the outer left lower back this time. Taking your breaths here, in and out of the nose, softness in the shoulders and the jaw. Go ahead and release your right hand forward again. Frame your right leg, lifting up. And then from here, let's come into a seated twist on this side. Right foot comes around and over to the outside of the right leg. Sit up nice and tall, right hand on the left knee, left arm extends up. And then opening into the rotation, left fingertips behind you. Sit nice and tall with each inhale, and then go ahead applying a little bit of pressure between the right hand and left knee so that you can come into your twist with each exhalation. You could go ahead and close your eyes, bring your focus to the sensations in your body, and taking note of the quality of your breath. Turning your gaze forward again, go ahead and bend into that right knee. This time the left shin is in front.
Little flexion in that left foot, both arms reach up for length. And then as we exhale, we fold forward into our seated forward fold. Again, maybe your hands support your head so that you can rest the weight. Or maybe your arms are just parallel to each other. By all means, maybe you're here, okay? That's okay too. So wherever you can feel a stretch in that outer left hip, you're doing it perfectly right. Last breath in. Last breath out. From here, lifting your gaze, come all the way up. We're going to go back into our downward facing dog. So rolling over the knees, lifting the hips back and up. Let's reach that left leg all the way up. Open the left hip by dropping the toes to the ground and the knee pushing towards the ceiling. Continue to press your chest back. Maybe the right heel drops towards the mat. One more inhale here, really finding that stretch in the front left hip crease. And then back into your downward facing dog. Lift your heels and drop them both over to the right side. Press your left foot into the mat, bend into your right, and then see if you can really press your chest towards that right outer leg. Pressing into your left hand, maybe gazing underneath your left arm. Big, full side body opening on the left. And then coming back into your downward facing dog, pedal it out for a moment. Really just do you. What feels good? What do you need? Before we make our way into the final part of this practice, coming all the way down onto our backs, so drop the knees at first. And then go ahead and flip yourself over, checking if you need to keep warm. You could have a blanket nearby. And then release the back of the head down onto the mat. We are going to come into a little short moment of circling the knees over the lower back. So hug your knees into the chest. And then just circle your knees one way and then the other, massaging out the lower back here. And we'll take one more brief twist. So open your arms out to the sides or cactus them if you don't have as much space. And then drop the knees over to the right side, allowing for length in the spine. Maybe your gaze naturally drops over to the left. Big inhale here. Try to bring all the breath down into your belly. And exhale out. One more time. Big breath in. And exhale, release. Turn your head and knees back to center. Drop both of them over to the left side. And then go ahead and maybe let your gaze drop over to the right again. Breathing deep, taking that breath to your navel. And release. One more in. One more exhale out. Everything back to center. Go ahead and hold your knees. Pull your forehead to your knees. Maybe grab for your feet and make yourself really nice and small. Maybe if you can hold the soles of your feet, press into your feet. Get a nice stretch in the back, upper part of your shoulders, the neck. And then allow for everything to release down to the mat. Soles of the feet are as wide as your mat. And then your knees knock together in this so-called constructive rest pose. Maybe your right hand finds a way to the belly, your left hand to your heart. Your eyes close. And we take a moment here to set an intention for our day ahead, reconnecting to our body, to our breath. Maybe you feel like staying in this pose, otherwise release the legs out long for a moment of complete rest of Shavasana, stillness and presence. And feel free to rest here for as long as you like. And I hope you enjoyed today's practice and you have the most beautiful day ahead. Thank you for joining. Namaste.